Good afternoon, Postal family. How's everybody doing? My name is Saeed. Welcome back to my channel. What's going on this Thursday? uh, what I'm talking about today is obviously the current situation of our NALC, where we stand right now, what's going to happen in the LA convention, all that good stuff. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name is Saeed. Postal content is what I do. Love to do. Thanks everybody for all the support. Keep giving me the thumbs up. Smash that hype button. I love all what you guys do for me. I can't appreciate it enough. All the communication, as always. I'm all about communication, so thanks a lot. Everything you guys say, respected in every which way. I appreciate it, guys. That communication. This is why I do this. So everything I say on here is from my views, my research. I don't speak on behalf of USPS Post Office in any of my videos. So let's get to what's going on right now. Well, whole lot of nothing for NALC. So just let's see what's gonna happen in the LA convention. At least we can hope for some better things. If you're a letter carrier, just care about the future of Postal Service, this is the video you need to watch right now. The national agreement between NALC and USPS has expired. We know that the mandatory mediation window has technically closed, and as of today, neither side has announced whether they reached a deal or whether this is headed into binding arbitration. The Postal Service says it could run out of cash within a year. On top of all that, NALC members are heading into presidential election with more challengers than we've seen in years. Today we're breaking down all of it. The contract, the money, the race for the top job. Let's get into it. Where the contract stands right now, let's start with the contract because this affects every single city carrier. The 2026 national agreement between NALC and USPS officially expired in May. We know that. Normally, that's when negotiators either hammer out a deal or head to mediation. Excuse me, a little bit eating allergies, so my bad. So normally that's what's happened. Negotiators hammer out a deal or mediation, and that's exactly what happened here. After the deadline passed, without a tentative agreement, both sides moved into mediation. Here's the thing, mediation isn't unlimited. The statute set a 60-day window, and the window has now technically closed. But as of right now, neither NALC nor USPS has publicly announced an outcome. No confirmed tentative agreement and no confirmed move to arbitration. That's not unusual. These things can be worked out quietly right up until an announcement drops. If mediation produces a tentative agreement, that deal goes out to the membership for a ratification vote. Carriers get to weigh in directly. But if mediation fails, it goes to interest arbitration. Our Mr. Renfro's favorite, interest arbitration. He has that big smile on his face. He ain't gonna do much, just sit there, pass the tentative agreement or whatever over. Different outcomes. Instead of members voting, a neutral arbitrator makes a final binding decision on the terms of the contract. No vote. This is the hurting part for the carriers. This time around, if this happens, this scenario, we won't get the tentative agreement. It goes directly to interest arbitration, and we'll see the end result without having to say a single word about it. No vote, no say. Whatever the arbitrator decides, that's the deal. That's a big deal, and it's why so many carriers are watching this closely. We could see an announcement any day now. What NALC actually is fighting for. So what's actually on the table? What is NALC pushing for in this contract? Let's break down the biggest demands. NALC's key demands. Number one, full cost of living protection. Cost of living adjustments are non-negotiable for NALC. They're the single biggest inflation hedge carriers have. And the union has made clear they're not giving ground here, especially after inflation squeezed real wages hard over the last contract cycle. Number 2, closing the Table 1 versus Table 2 pay gap. It's another serious issue right now for anyone hired after 2013. Here's something a lot of people outside the union don't realize. Carriers hired after 2013 top out at a noticeably lower pay rate than carriers hired before 2013 for the exact same job. Every contract cycle, NALC chips away at that gap a little more. And they're pushing to close it further this time. This affects the majority of the current career workforce, so it's a huge deal internally. Number 3, eliminating the CCA classification. This might be the single biggest structural fight. CCA city carrier assistants are non-career employees who don't get the same job security benefits or path to top pay as career carriers. NALC's target is all in career workforce, effectively phasing out the CCA tier altogether so new hires get screwed security and benefits from day one, instead of grinding through years as a lower tier employee. NALC goal, eliminate the CCA tier to all career workforce. Number 4, raising the starting pay and shortening the climb to top scale. Right now it takes over 12 years, good God, 12 to 13 years for a career carrier to reach the top of the pay scale. NALC is pushing hard for the meaningful higher starting wage and a much shorter runway to top pay. Partly because starting pay at USPS has fallen behind what companies like UPS and Amazon are offering for comparable work. If USPS can compete on a day one pay, it struggles to recruit and retain new carriers. Number 5, stronger safety and workload protections. The physical demands of the job have changed a lot with the rise of package delivery. Heavier loads, more stops, more apartment, and multi-unit access issues. Expect the union to push for stronger safety language and workload protections tied to the shift. And there's one more thing bubbling up from the rank and file that's worth mentioning. A grassroots push, sometimes summarized with the chant 30-30. Calling for a reduction in supervisory positions. Is not officially part of NALC's formal bargaining position, but it reflects a broader mood among members who feel management has gotten top-heavy while carrier staffing hasn't kept pace. Here's the tension. Through NALC is walking into the fight with management team that's telling Congress the agency could run out of cash within a year. That doesn't automatically mean carriers get a bad deal, but it does mean USPS is going to push hard for cost containment. And NALC is going to have to fight to balance real wage gains against a Postal Service that says it's genuinely strapped for cash. The money problem. Now here's where it gets more complicated, because this contract fight isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening while USPS is in a serious financial trouble. Well, that's what they say. We really don't know, because we don't get to see the actuality. I mean, the Postmaster General said, and we're supposed to believe it. Postmaster General Steiner has been blunt about it. Back in March of this year, he told reporters USPS could be out of cash in 12 months without major changes. The agency has wrapped up roughly $120 billion in net losses since 2007. And first-class mail volume, historically USPS' most profitable product, has dropped to levels not seen since the late 1960s. So give or take, the mail volume has dropped, and Postmaster General says we're running out of cash, so we need help from the Congress, and we needed it yesterday. That's what he says. So what did USPS do? They bought an outside restructuring firm, Alvarez and Marcel, a well-known New York consulting firm that specializes in corporate turnarounds. Steiner called it a brief engagement to help with planning for all scenarios. But make no mistake, all scenarios include cuts to service and staffing. Steiner has said explicitly that everything is on the table. Now, this has caught the attention of Congress. Senator Josh Hawley has opened an oversight inquiry demanding USPS turn over records on what it's paying Alvarez and Marcel and what recommendations might come out of the engagement, especially anything that could affect rural delivery or executive compensation. As of the recording, Hawley says his office still hasn't gotten the documents he requested back in June. Why does this matter for the next contract? Because whatever Alvarez and Marcel recommends and whatever Congress does or doesn't do with USPS debt limit could directly shape how much room there is to negotiate and how an arbitrator might rule if it goes that route. This is significant. The arbitrator is going to see everything where these two guys, Alvarez, Marcel, recommend, and his decision is going to be altered, so to speaking. So another bad whip for us carriers. Those recommendations are expected by the end of fiscal year September 30th. So carriers aren't just negotiating with USPS, they're negotiating against the backdrop of financial crisis that could get worse before it gets better. On top of all that, the NALC presidential race. Now let's shift to others. Big story, because 2026 is also an NALC national election year. And the presidential race has more contested energy than usual. Incumbent President Brian Renfro is seeking to hold on to his seat. He's been the face of NALC through the entire contract fight, unfortunately. So, however this mediation arbitration process shakes out will likely become a central issue in the campaign. He's got a real competition this cycle. Mike Cariff has launched a campaign. You can find his platform on his official campaign site, Cariff for President 2026. James Henry is running as the candidate. Group called it Self-Concerned Letter Carriers, or CLC. A faction that's been vocal about wanting change in NALC leadership. Then there's David Noble running under the slate called Clean Sweep. Noble's background is notable. He worked in NALC's Minneapolis regional office handling third-step grievances and arbitration across a 4-state area. And he's credited with creating NALC's computer arbitration system and writing a resource called Defenses to Discipline. His campaign has focused heavily on transparency, specifically around other compensation, alleging that NALC officers receive payments beyond what's approved by the membership in the union's constitution. That's interesting stuff. So they get money on the side too. The transparency argument is worth sitting with for a second because it's likely to come up again and again in the campaign trail, especially with rank and file members already anxious about the contract and the financial pressure on USPS. So how does everything I said, what's going on in the NALC, how this all connects? Here's the big picture takeaway. These two stories, the contract and the election, aren't separate. They're deeply connected. If mediation fails and this goes to arbitration, well, most likely scenario, we haven't heard anything, that outcome lands right in the middle of an election where leadership itself is being challenged. If the arbitrator's decision disappoints members and going to become a campaign issue overnight, and if Alvarez and Marcel's recommendations call for cuts, whoever's leading NALC when that news breaks is going to be under enormous pressure to respond. So over the next couple of months, keep an eye on three things: whether mediation produces a deal or goes to arbitration, what comes out of Alvarez and Marcel review, how the presidential candidates position themselves on both. So, a lot covered here, what NALC is going through. We got the LA convention coming too. That's where the things stand right now. This is a fast-moving situation, so I'll keep tracking and bring you updates as mediation wraps up and more details on the election emerge. If this was useful, as always, drop a like. You all know all that good stuff. Y'all with that communication, thanks so much. So that's what's going on with the NALC. They're not telling us anything behind closed doors. Mediation is over. No announcement has been made from either side. We got the contenders for the NALC president seat. James Henry, Cariff, Noble is there as well. So it's going to be very intense. That there's a fourth person too, I believe, that Davidson character. I think there was some news saying he dropped out. I'm going to have to double check on that. So a lot going on, but we'll see. Prayers go out as always for NALC, betterment of the carriers, betterment for all crabs for that reason. You know, it's a whole postal family. Truckers, we got mail handlers, we got clerks, everything, the whole package. We all need better contracts across the board, you know, to compete with the UPS, sort of speaking. That's what we're compared to. And we always lag behind so much that it's not even funny. I mean, they top out at 49, we're at 41, UPS does. And it's the most important thing for me actually is, since I'm hired obviously after 2013, so is that pay scale, man. You know, as we get older, we want more money right now, jump up the scale, because nobody knows about tomorrow, right? I mean, we say 13 years, but do you know if you're even going to wake up tomorrow? So these things are very serious. We need that 2 tables into 1, which a lot of people are saying unlikely. They ain't going to touch those 2 tables, but, you know, we can hope at least, because 12, 13 years is a lifetime, man. Like I said, anything can happen. Not to be cruel or negative, just being a realist here. You don't know if you wake up tomorrow. You don't know if you make it all day tomorrow. It's not guaranteed. Next 5 minutes isn't even guaranteed. So we need some action, and we needed it yesterday. We need that table into 1. Make it more reasonable, instead of 12, 13 years. 7 or 8, say 7 or 8 tops. And if that can't work, move that table into 1 table. And well, that will be major. NALC can't handle anything like that. So, but I'm sure they can if they converge the 2 tables into 1, change everybody's pay, or where they would have been had they been on before 2013 pay table. So that would be something. That would be a big raise for everybody, and help out the situation right now. But this is just my 2 cents I'm putting in right now on this all NALC situation. It's really rough with this President Renfro. All we can do is pray, man, at this point. So that's it. Just wanted to recap what we're fighting for. NALC situation right now. Going into the convention, I believe the end of next week it starts, the first week of August. So we're here. Hopefully some good results come out of it. I'll track it every day and report what's going on. Okay, guys? Last thing, if you like what you see and you see what you like, hit the subscribe. I don't know what gets on me to say there, but I like that line so much, I'm going to add it, and hopefully nobody has a, what do you call it, a hold on it. There's a term on it, a legal term. You can't use certain people's sayings. But I like it so much. What the heck? I'm going to use it. So until next time, that's it, guys. Hope everybody's good. Stay cool out there, guys. Take care. MailmanSyed out.